join us here on the Breakfast Television couch. Thank you for coming.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I love being here.
Obviously, a former Olympian, someone who has celebrated so much in life, dealt with many things in life, and grown into such an inclusive and loving person, and you bring that to your students now at Cabby. Tell us a little bit about the school, just in case people weren't aware of what you're doing today.
I'm very lucky to teach in Cabby and Goal Secondary, which is Cabby is the smallest high school in Coquitlam, the Coquitlam School District. And what I really love about our program is we have a smaller population, so it's a very close-knit community. There's a lot of care and love in the school, and we're able to, as teachers, really connect closely with our students on a daily basis, which I love.
You were just saying in the break, one of the big messages you focus on is the preventative nature when it comes to the idea of bullying. What's your approach as a teacher that that parents can kind of take away of understanding yourself, loving yourself first, to try and avoid these types of things happening?
I think something that's really important is just to be very present and listen. So what I try really hard to do, I mean, I'm not perfect, but is to, when a student has something to say, I try to stop myself and just really try and understand what it is that they're trying to say to me and be present for them. And I think that's a great way to be in life with everybody, because people want to be heard. And a lot of times I think by not listening, people get frustrated. They want their message to be out there. And so it's really simple. It's the small things, just listening to what someone has to say. Put your phone away.
If I could be a little bit personal with you on this level, because we did go back and forth and we've been discussing trying to find a love initiative, something to add to this world when it comes to bullying. One of the things on top, another layer of listening, you say, I listen with my whole body.
Yeah.
And as a parent, after you said that to me by email, I tried it with Brady, and I truly listened with my whole body, and he lit up. Yeah. Because they can sense it, they can feel it. Because I am like this a lot.
So much.
And I need to put that down. Okay, so the next layer is, we got to not only listen to the bullied, but we have to listen to the bullies and find out why. How do you combat that?
Well, again, I think that I'm very nervous with labeling someone, giving them the label of being a bully, because they're going to carry that forward now into their, the rest of their lives. And I think that anyone who's partaking in that type of behavior has either been victimized, have been hurt, they haven't been heard, or there's an underlying mental health issue that we don't know about, because it's not normal to try to be harmful like that towards someone. So I'm I'm understanding of people that have been victimized and they're feeling angry towards the bully, but I'm also trying to understand what's happening for the person that's doing the victimization. Where are they coming from? So yeah.
I think now it's such an interesting time in terms of how vulnerable we all are as adults, as students, as kids coming into their own identity. What message do you relay to these kids to understand the power of social media, the power of communication, to allow them to understand their self-worth?
I think the biggest message that I try to give to my son and my students is to not be afraid to love and not be afraid to care. I love my students and I care about each and every one of them, and I tell them that all the time. And I think that's really important to have that face-to-face. And with social media, a lot of times it's worth reminding young people that once you put it out there, it's out there forever. So I'll always try and remind students, in terms of applying for jobs, if you're feeling angry, it's really not the time to email or text or to say anything, right? You got to hold that. And it's always better to have that face-to-face with someone.
Interesting, you have the history, obviously, of being an elite athlete at the highest possible level. We had Rebecca Marino here last week to talk about, but she stepped away from tennis because she wants to do other things, and she had lost the passion for that sport at that level. But she did talk about cyberbullying as an adult. So preparing our children to deal with social media is one thing, but just as like labeling might, or that living on the internet forever might stay with you as an adult, how can we as parents govern that and set an example? Is that do you?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, my son's at the age now, he's 10, so he's kind of, he's got an iPad now, he's at that age, and it's just having those conversations on a daily basis that there's someone on the other end of that message. There's someone on the other end of that, device that you're sending a note to, and it's very easy to say things that you may regret later when you don't see the person's face. So I'm always trying to kind of communicate that to him and to my students, and remember that myself. Because there's times when I feel frustrated or angry, and I'm like, I'm going to fire off an email. But it's really not the way to go. And it's always better face to face, because you have that opportunity to relay care and compassion to someone, and that always makes communication way better.
Daily basis.
It's so true too. I mean, you can send a text to somebody and no harm is meant, but tone is so misinterpreted via email, via text, and all these other mediums.
We've had that between us.
Yeah.
And then you have to sort it out, and it's like, okay, wait, hello, hello, or this. Hold on, let's talk about that. And then we're like, right, I didn't mean it that way. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Imagine being
It's true.
kids.
I mean, it's very easy to fire off a text, but it has much more meaning to seek the person out and look into their eyes while you're speaking with them.
Great tips all around, Leah. Always great to have you here on the show. Pinkshirtday.ca is the website if you want to find out more. And keep the comments coming. I think we're
District 43.
Just it. Yeah, there's
Rocking
a play.
the same as Cindy.
There's
I
a
know.
play.
There you
There's
go.
a play. Terry Fox, bullyinggames.sd43.bc.ca.
Okay, we're going to put that up on our website.
Yes, we should.
We'll put that on Facebook.
Okay.
I almost forgot it already. Comments we'll do around 8:40 as well for everybody chiming in as well.